Bobby Knuckles, the Reaper, and he's in uncertain territory, which is kind of strange, bro, because you come off of a loss against Hamzat Chimaev where you get memed, you get your teeth smashed in or whatever the case may be. But before that, you beat the test, you passed the test. The other big name that people were saying this might be it for Whittaker. Can he pass the test of Ikram Aliskerov? Now you get this guy right here in Reinier the Ritter, who I think is coming off of that recency bias of beating Bo Nickel, beating GM3, Gerald Mearshart, beating Kevin Holland. But now that you get Robert Whittaker, some say it's a step up in competition. This guy's a former 2-division champion in another promotion, though, where he fought the best of the best. So my first question to you is, in this matchup right here, is this a step up in competition, or is this just another battle for two experienced veterans here?
No, this is a step up in competition, Derek. I mean, you want to talk about levels. Bobby Knuckles has been at the top for quite a long time, and not just the top of the UFC, like the top of all MMA. And I mean, there was only a couple of years ago where we were talking, if there wasn't Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker would still be the champ of that division. So I know things have changed lately, especially with how things have been going. And like you said, recency bias is a thing. But I mean, you want to talk about somebody who's always going to be game and always looking to put you to sleep. You take 2 seconds off with Robert Whittaker, you end up like Ikram Aliskerov hitting the chicken dance, wondering what's happening to you.
That's true. That's true. Because I think the battle is very simple right here. It comes down to a dude who you know is going to walk forward in RDR. He's going to try to grapple you up. He's going to try to take you down. And the problem with Whittaker is guys who have won the physicality battle have been able to take him down. Interesting stat, though. If I'm not mistaken, there's only been 2 fighters who have had extended control time against Whittaker in his entire UFC career. That's Yoel Romero, which he actually did it in 2 fights, and none other than Hamzat Chimaev. Everybody else, he's been able to get back up to his feet at some point. So the argument, the recency bias of, well, RDR is just going to walk him down, take him down, and just submit him could be valid because, like I said, this is a big dude, 2-division champion, not just, middleweight or anything like that, but, going up in weight as well for RDR. But Robert Whittaker, knowing that that's the game plan, you have one option. You have to keep it on the feet. And on the feet, talk to us about the striking differentials between these 2 fighters, because I have some thoughts of my own, but I'm curious to know what you think.
What worried me most, folks, and if you want to see it, make sure you go watch that GM3 fight. Yeah, Reinier the Ritter did pull it out. He got the win at the end, but that submission. But you can see a lot of the times, man, hands start dropping, chins high, and he's really just like winging stuff in, like pawing at things going forward. Very, very worrisome on the feet, right? Solid ground game. What's worrisome as well is he likes to close the distance, but when he's doing it, man, he is tall, chin high, and just throwing, because all he has to do is get in close, get his hands on you. But man, Robert Whittaker, especially if he is able to evade, throw a duck under left hand over the top, like there's a lot of worry for the Ritter corner right here.
Yeah, man. When I watch film on this one, I just think RDR is just he's walking through mud when he's throwing, bro. You know what I mean? Like off balance, he's getting pushed around on the feet. And Whittaker with that blitzing style right there, especially against a southpaw, where Robert Whittaker 6-0 versus southpaws in the UFC. I mean, he's been hurt by southpaws, don't get me wrong, but being able to come in and just kind of piece him up, hit him with that vintage right hand with that head kick over the top right there. Yeah, that's if you don't get taken down. That's the problem, though. Whittaker needs open space. RDR needs to close the distance. And the best thing about RDR in his short span in the UFC thus far is if you take a look at the numbers right here, what is it? 79% significant strike accuracy for Reinier de Ritter at 3.25 significant strikes landed per minute, which is kind of a misleading stat because it seems like he's just a big puncher and he throws a lot or whatever. His striking is a means to set up the grappling, which is very effective, especially when he's throwing long teeps, throwing a big shot and then grabbing the clinch and then kind of using not just jiu-jitsu. Because here's my biggest argument right here. As a jiu-jitsu guy, de Ritter, his approach to getting the fight to the ground is going to be a little bit different than everybody else. He also, I believe, has a background in judo. So he uses a lot of trips to get fighters to the ground. He doesn't have to come in like Hamzat and shoot a blast double or go in on a single leg. Even though he actually does have like a decent single, he can get the fight to the ground. I just think that from a physicality battle, Whittaker has to, for 25 minutes, you have to stay away from the clinch from the long limbs of de Ritter, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to do that, even though they're both only 34 years old. Whittaker seems like he has a lot more mileage on him. Would you agree?
Yeah, he absolutely has more mileage on him, especially big time fights with really, really impactful situations, right? We've seen Robert Whittaker throughout his entire career really have to deal with a lot of adversity. But I mean, no, it's good. This is going to be the fight to really prove if De Ritter is up to the challenge, man. Because yeah, like you said, double champ in other division or other organizations.
Yeah.
Still, though, like this is a whole nother situation. And I agree with you. I do know, like you hit the nail on the head, Derek. One has to close distance, the other one has to stay away. I'm worried about that exact intermediary because more often than not, Robert Whittaker has the tools to get past those little bits of flaws. We haven't seen that yet with De Ritter.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, let's talk about the danger zones right here, and then we could talk about the money, of course. So danger zone right here for De Ritter is going to be the extending boxing range trades, right? Like De Ritter on one hand, he can be at open distance and he can be just fine. He has hands too, man. He could throw. Don't get me wrong. He has power. It's just slow getting there, you know what I mean? But he can throw, he can chop up the legs, he can do all that stuff. But he has to watch out for the blitzes in from Robert Whittaker, but also that kick range of Robert Whittaker. On the other hand, if Robert Whittaker overcommits on that blitz, that plays right into the hands of RDR right there. So I think it's going to be, closer than what people imagine. But would you argue, this is kind of my last piece on the argument here, a lot of people thought that the fight against Du Plessis is going to be a prototype for what this fight is going to be. Du Plessis, slow, unorthodox, everything throws weird, but he was able to just like get his hands on Whittaker and just win the fight, drop him with a slow jab, but a powerful jab, and just kind of take over from there. If he gets on Robert Whittaker's back, if he does something like that, the fight can be over. Some people say that this is what the Robert Whittaker versus Du Plessis fight, the outcome if Whittaker wins is like what people expected that fight would have turned out. Or it could just be the clunky, unorthodox guys, man, just won the day. What do you think?
Yeah, I know that's a very apt comparison, Derek. I can see where a lot of people are thinking. When you were talking about it, I was thinking about going forward, like how that exactly works out. Yeah, I think Du Plessis is a good comparison, but funny enough, he's probably faster than De Ritter, right? Like speed in general, they're both slow. Don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah.
Mud is very correct in how they're moving, but the snappiness that De Ritter lacks at certain times, especially once he starts kind of getting tired and in longer into the fights. That's where I think Du Plessis succeeds. So this could be a good thing for Robert Whittaker trying to get in this fight.
All right, well, let's talk numbers right here. The number that we're tracking, let me go to FanDuel for this one. Whittaker still in the driver's seat from the odds, minus 158 for Whittaker, plus 124 comeback for De Ritter. So definitely some dog value if you want to go with the grappling edge right here. Totals from what I tracked last right here is 2.5 rounds, minus 115 for the over, minus 115 for the under. What are you seeing, brother? What do you like here?
Ooh, Derek. I mean, this is an interesting fight because both fighters can win within the rounds. I do think the over favors Robert Whittaker more, especially if De Ritter's not able to get his hands on him. So personally, I'm rocking with De Ritter on this fight. I like that under, right? I like that under 2.5. It's a long time. If he can get a submission, get his hands on him, I think he can get this fight done.
I'm not willing to count out Robert Whittaker just yet. I need to see. It's one of those, I need to see it right here. Now, I do think getting Robert Whittaker at minus 150 right here, this is not particularly a smash spot per se. I kind of think that like if we were getting a smash spot, this would be one of those like 115, minus 115, minus 105 type spots right here where it's almost even money. But Robert Whittaker at minus 150, you don't see it a ton these days. And if he gets a big win right here and he gets it in dominant fashion, I don't think you're going to be touching this number really anytime soon. I'm going to roll with Robert Whittaker right here. Of course, path to victory is going to be a longer fight. I think he can finish this via TKO or decision. So I don't have a bet right there, but I do got a pick for you guys, and it's going to be Robert Whittaker money line. So the picks are in. I'm taking Whittaker. AJ's rolling De Ritter with the under. I'm taking Whittaker with the over. That's your pick for your main event right there.